The 3 wonderful Android app emulator for iOS. Definition, features and how to setting. We are all aware that iOS does not allow the use of the Google operating system on its devices. That is what prevents iPhone users from taking advantage of the numerous wonderful Google operating system tools. Using an Android app emulator for iOS to take advantage of all the wonderful features and utility of Google OS on your Apple devices is a straightforward way to solve this problem. What is Android app emulator for iOS? The program that enables you to use Google's tools and capabilities on iOS devices is known as an Android app emulator. It is a fantastic program that enables you to enjoy everything that is not possible on iOS devices. You can utilize Google Search, Google Maps, Drive, Photos, and many other services. The greatest benefit of an Android app emulator for iOS is that it helps you from purchasing a smartphone in order to test out all the capabilities, because you can do it by installing the latest Android emulator on iOS devices. Why should you choose an Android app emulator for iOS? If you don't have enough money to purchase a new smartphone but still want to use Google services like Google Photos, Google Drive, Google Maps, Google Play Music, and many more. If so, you can use all of these services by installing an Android app emulator for iOS device. Installing an Android app emulator for iOS will allow you to play all the Android, iOS games you can't play on your iOS device if you're a gamer. Install an Android app emulator for iOS device if you want to download an app that is only accessible on the Play Store rather than the App Store. Top 3 Android app emulator for iOS. This is the most important part of the essay because it's where we'll tell you which iOS emulators are the best. Even though there are many of options for the best Android app emulator for iOS available, this article can help you choose and use one more effectively. 1. iAndroid. The best Android app emulator for iOS devices, including the iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch, is currently iAndroid Simulator. It is a well-designed Android emulator that allows iOS devices to use Android features. When it was released in 2011, its main aim was to make it easier for iOS users to get their preferred Android apps. You don't have to worry about installing Cydia and jailbreaking your handset without jailbreaking, because iAndroid can be installed on both jailbroken and non-jailbroken devices. Let's look at the procedures you must take in order to install and use this emulator. Let's look at the procedures you must take in order to install and use this emulator. On your iOS device, you must first download Cydia. Open the Cydia application after installing it, and then click the Manage button at the bottom of the screen. When you click the Manage button, options for storage, sources, and packages will appear. You must select the Sources option here. The screen will display all of Cydia's sources. You must now seek up http://app.modmy.com in a search engine and then find the source in order to download it. Once the download is complete, click the source to access the collection of applications. Find and select the iAndroid application. Look for the iAndroid application and click on it. The iAndroid emulator for iOS will appear. Click on it to download it to your iOS device. When the installation is complete, tap the program to start it up and have fun. 2. GBA for iOS. This emulator is specifically for Nintendo users and players. So pay attention. You may play all your favorite console game series and genres on your iOS smartphone by using GBA for iOS. It ranks highly among the top Android app emulator for iOS gadgets. This emulator's interface is exceptionally fluid, which provides you with the ideal gaming environment. You must obtain this emulator app from a third-party app store like AppValley, iEmulators, Tweakbox, or eMuse4U, as Apple is currently ceasing support for it on the App Store. Let's look at the procedures you must take in order to install and use this emulator. Method 1. AppValley greater than download AppValley here. Open the AppValley page and download it to your device. Once installed, open and search for GBA for iOS. Tap it. Follow the instructions and GBA for iOS will be installed. Method 2. emuse4u greater than download emuse4u here. GBA for iOS can be found and downloaded from the emulators section of emuse4u. Enjoy console games on your iPhone or iPad once you start using the app. Method 3. Tweakbox application. Download Tweakbox to your iPhone or iPad and then open it. Then select Tweakbox apps under Apps. To download the app, enter its name in the search bar and click the button above. Press install. You can use GBA for iOS once it has finished installing.